Today we have a really great just dropped one of my markers. A really great video about overthinking. I have been the biggest overthinker majority of my life so far at the time of recording this video. It definitely didn't serve me. I used to have people tell me in my life that overthinking kills happiness and it kills joy and things like this. Nonetheless, I still overthought. And once we realize the mechanism for overthinking and how it actually really is not serving you at all, then we start to live a lot calmer and a lot happier and more at peace. So to start off with, people who often overthink, they often never slow down. They're always doing something, okay? So for me, I lived in like a state of survival for a very long time. And I was always doing something. I was always just like doing stuff. This, that, little projects, different jobs. I felt very at ease with slowing down. Even like the thought of a holiday. And I would feel lazy if I slowed down or I didn't do anything or I worked less or something like that, okay? But what we must realize here is that slowing down is the key to clarity, okay? So overthinkers often don't get clarity about what they're thinking about, which is why they overthink it. Often all of this overthinking is because you crave clarity in some area. What should I really be doing for work? How do I build this business? Is this partner right for me? Whatever, okay? So a lot of this overthinking is because it isn't giving you clarity. But your answer is the opposite. In order to find clarity, you need to slow down. Overthinking when you're looking for the right answer. There's a assumption that like there's a right answer. Like if you keep thinking about it, you're going to find the right answer. When you're looking for the right answer, there's an assumption that there's a wrong answer. What if there isn't a right or wrong answer? What if the answer is what aligns with you? And if it aligns with you, that's great. And if it doesn't align with someone else, well, that's not your problem, right? Often overthinkers are looking for clarity. They're looking for the right answer, and presumably because they think like that, they think there's a wrong answer as well. They're scared of making the wrong move. They're scared of making the wrong decision. Now, if you struggle with overthinking, I want you to ask yourself this. How does overthinking serve you? How does overthinking help you? How does overthinking bring you clarity? The answer is it doesn't, right? And it doesn't help you. Because if you could have the clarity, then you wouldn't overthink. But the overthinking doesn't help you get the clarity, does it? So overthinking, what we must realize, okay? Overthinking is literally just a pattern. It's a pattern wired in your brain. Now, let me make it really clear to the overthinkers. Not everyone overthinks like you do, okay? And that's not to say that there's something wrong with you. I used to overthink for decades of my life. There's not something wrong with you. What you must realize, though, is that the overthinking is a pattern. Your brain has been wired to overthink for some reason, which we'll get into in a sec. And basically, this need to overthink, like it feels like if you don't think about it, then you're going to do something wrong. Like you have to overthink about it. You have to think about it so much. It's just a story you've told yourself. It's something that you agreed to, most likely back in childhood. As though you may have, this is just an example, you may have had the fear of making the wrong decision about your career because maybe your parent made the decision of choosing the wrong career. And so you overthink about what your career should be all the time. And that's a perfect example of why it's a pattern in your brain. But this pattern is just a story. It's a story that you agreed to, most likely back in childhood at some point. Often people who overthink are those who are living in survival mode. If I can control, then I will be safe. And therefore I must overthink everything and make the right decisions so that I'm in control and I'm making the right decisions so that I'm protected and I'm safe. That is survival mode. Now, if you think about what overthinking actually is, it is you overthinking because it's a pattern, because it's a story that you've told yourself, it's something you agreed to back in childhood, and because of that, the issue is that you can't be present. Not only maybe you struggle to be present to maybe enjoy certain moments in life and things like that because you're sitting there overthinking about something else, but more so, you can't be present. And it's in presence that we find clarity. The exact reason you're overthinking. It's in presence that we find clarity. So, I want you to ask yourself, if you are an overthinker, most likely you are if you're still watching this video, is there a little girl or a little boy part of you that didn't feel safe? If that little girl or little boy part of you at some point didn't feel safe and their nervous system was all of a sudden overstimulated to make sure they were safe and therefore lived in survival mode, that is quite potentially why you are an overthinker. Now, some people cannot backtrack to, oh, I wonder what happened that made me feel not safe. Maybe you have really great parents and they were so loving and they were so caring, and it's like, this isn't really making sense. Remember, there are years of your life that you were like a literal baby, like 0 to 3. You can't remember what happened when you were 0 to 3. Maybe it's something so simple that caused that baby's nervous system to be overstimulated. Moving on to fear. Okay, so overthinkers often, their overthinking comes from the fear of something, all right? It might be the fear of losing everything you've worked for. Or maybe it's the fear of trust. If I trust this person, then there's a chance they might leave me with my back against the wall. And that's why you overthink. They're just two examples. What we must realize, again, that overthinking really is just a mechanism. It's a pattern, it's a story, and it's an acceptance of that story that you have made. It is such a mechanism that it is a overprotective mechanism. It's there to keep you safe, yet it's so overactive that it, you know, like the idea of like overprotective parents or something, and they're so protective that they don't let, for example, like a kid go and have a sleepover, or a kid go to like some birthday party or something like that, where it's like there's almost the idea that there's too much protection, that it has a negative effect. That's the same with this. Overthinking is an overprotective mechanism to the point where it's not serving you. So what we must realize is, firstly, that you're an overthinker, why you're an overthinker, what fears do you have that make you overthink, but more than anything else, realize that you do have control. You don't have to overthink to be in control. You have the control to always, you know, have your own back and things like that. But you also have the strength to know that it's not serving you. And if you want to serve yourself a lot better, you need to learn to stop overthinking. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, overthinking, me just stop overthinking. Like, come on, you serious? I can't do that. Bring yourself back to the thing that we talked about in the beginning. Why do you overthink? You overthink because you want to make the right decisions. And often when we want to make a decision, or we know we have to make decisions, a decision is really clarity. Okay? And where do we find clarity? In the present. What does overthinking do? Overthinking puts us in either the past or the future, that of which we cannot get clarity there. We get clarity in the present. And so when we realize this, the solution to overthinking is simply realizing that what you're overthinking about and what you're trying to find by overthinking will not be found in the state of overthinking. It will be found in the state of learning to slow down. It will be found in the state of being present. It will be found in the state of not thinking about the past and not thinking about the future, and instead being present. Our present day, our present minute, our present second is the thing that's going to give you clarity. Because we're not like these people which can all of a sudden know everything about our future. And also our past, we can't go back and change it. Our past is our past because it's our past. It's got the word P-A-S-T for a reason. It's kind of like that quote. You know how there's that quote where it's like, oh, I forgot what it is. It's like the gift of presence is the gift of the present, and that's why it's called the present, something like that, along those lines. If you're looking for a solution within overthinking, realize and accept, firstly, you need to slow down. Okay, remember, people who overthink, they often do a lot of things, and they're in that state of survival. You need to slow down, and you need to accept the fact that overthinking isn't serving you. You need to accept the fact that overthinking is doing nothing of finding clarity. And to find those answers that you're looking for, and remember, if you presume that there's a right answer, you're also assuming that there's a wrong answer. If you're looking for clarity, that's all overthinking is, the clarity. Am I making the right decision about this? Am I giving too much? Am I giving not enough? Am I getting in too deep? Or maybe I should be doing that. To find the clarity so that you can come at peace with yourself and the decisions you make, is to be present. You only find clarity in the present. Even when we're finding clarity about our past, we find the clarity about our past by being in the present. That's a whole nother topic, but it's true. So that's it for today, my friends. I hope this one helped you out. And if you can think of any other overthinkers in your life, feel free to share it with them. And if you don't subscribe, if you haven't subscribed already, you are more than welcome to, especially if you want more videos like this to help yourself out on becoming your best and most authentic self, being more online with, yourself and the decisions you make. But more importantly, healing those parts of us that sometimes have been left a little bit wounded or a little bit scarred, and being at peace in the present. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.